The book I'm going to be reading today is Corduroy, Lost and Found. The story's by B.G. Hennessy, but actually the character Corduroy and the series of books that was written is actually originally by Don Freeman. He has since passed away, and I think Hennessy was Freeman's illustrator, and he actually wrote this book in 2006. The original Corduroy books were written in the 60s and 70s. I think there were two of them that were written. I chose this book because I was kind of filtering through the children's books we had at home, and as I was reading this one, I was kind of drawn to, I guess, just the world of fantasy. Just Corduroy being alive. He's just this teddy bear of this girl's, and just the fantasy world that of a little child coming from that, and also just another thing that I was really drawn to is kind of the diversity that I saw as I was reading this book, and that's sort of the inspiration behind some of my voices. So without any further ado, it's Corduroy, Lost and Found. One sunny Saturday afternoon, Risa and her mother were riding the bus home from a shopping trip. Corduroy sat comfortably on Risa's lap as the bus bumped around. She held on to him so he wouldn't fall. Risa took very good care of Corduroy. He looked out the window while Risa and her mother talked about Risa's birthday. Corduroy's ears perked right up. "Lisa's having a birthday and I don't have a present for her," he said to himself. He looked out the window at all the stores. "I wonder what she would like," he thought. They all got off the bus at the next stop. Risa's mother rode the elevator up to their apartment, but Corduroy and Risa liked to run up the stair two at a time to see if they could get there first. That night, Corduroy lay awake long after Risa fell asleep. He was worried about her present. "I need to find something special," he decided. Very early the next morning, Corduroy slipped out of bed, tiptoed out of Risa's room, and crept through the apartment. He opened the front door and stepped into the hallway. Just then, the elevator doors opened. "Maybe I'll find something for Risa in here," said Corduroy as he looked in. Corduroy looked at the buttons on the wall. Each button had a number on it. "This is like a game," Corduroy said. "Lisa might like a game for her birthday." Corduroy climbed up on the stool and pressed a button. All at once, the doors closed and the elevator began to move up. "This is like a rocket ship," thought Corduroy. Maybe Lisa would like to ride in a rocket ship for her birthday." Corduroy pressed more buttons. Down and up and down he went. Finally, the elevator came to a stop. When the doors opened, Corduroy stepped out into the lobby. Peeking out over the roof on the building across the street, Corduroy saw just what he was looking for. "It's the biggest, prettiest balloon I ever saw," thought Corduroy. "That is what I want to give Lisa for her birthday." Corduroy had never before been outside when it was still dark. The familiar neighborhood looked very different. And where was Risa's balloon? Then he saw it at the end of the street. "It's getting away!" cried Corduroy. He ran as fast as he could to catch it. Before he had gone very far, he saw a big brown dog. "Maybe Lisa would like a pet for her birthday," thought Corduroy. "Hello!" 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 he said to the dog. "Arf!" barked the dog, and it picked him up by the overalls and carried him down the street. Just when they got to the corner, a big noisy truck slowed down and someone threw a tall stack of newspaper onto the sidewalk. The dog was so surprised that he dropped Corduroy on top of the papers. That is where Mr. Gonzalez, the owner of the newsstand, found Corduroy sitting all by himself. "Where in the world did you come from, mi amigo?" He put Corduroy up on a shelf. "I think someone must have dropped you. He looked like a very special bear, and I bet they will be back for you. Until then, you can help me sell my papers." From up on the shelf, Corduroy could see everything that was going on as people brought papers. Corduroy smiled shyly at them. "This must be a job," said Corduroy. "I've always wanted a job." A woman stopped in front of the newsstand. "How much for the bear?" she asked. "Sorry, senora, this bear is not for sale. He is lost and waiting to be found," said Mr. Gonzalez. "Lost?" Corduroy had never wanted to be lost. He thought about Risa. He knew that she would be worried about him. Then corduroy remembered the balloon. He had forgotten all about it. Where was it? Corduroy looked up and down the street. It wasn't as dark anymore. But he didn't see the beautiful balloon anywhere. Now he was sad and sleepy. He wanted to be home with Risa. Corduroy fell asleep thinking about balloons and home. He was just waking up when he heard a familiar voice. A very worried Risa was asking Mr. Gonzalez if she could put up a sign she made for her lost bear. "This is a very good picture, Senorita," said Mr. Gonzalez. "But you won't need this sign. Your bear is here with me." Mr. Gonzalez took Corduroy down from the sheriff and gave him a lollipop. It looked just like the balloon he wanted to give to Lisa. "Muchas gracias, senor," said Risa. "Thank you for helping me, Corduroy," said Mr. Gonzalez. "Adios." Corduroy and Risa were so happy they ran all the way home and up the stairs, 2 at a time. "Corduroy, I was so worried about you," said Risa. "The only thing I wanted for my birthday was to have my best friend back home with me." Risa gave Corduroy a big hug. "That's exactly what I wanted too," thought Corduroy, and he gave Risa a birthday hug right back. The end.